All right, in 3, 2, 1.
Oh! This is the podcast!
Are you telling me that you built a time machine out of a podcast?
I have come here to chew bubblegum and
Podcast.
and I'm all out of bubblegum.
Hey everyone, welcome to Get to the Movies. I'm trying to start the show.
Wait, is the third
but
one
we're still talking about
Thunder Gun?
Yeah, Thunder
Then
Gun.
I did watch it.
My
Yeah,
name
yeah.
is Diego de
No,
Souza.
third one is
That is Nick Gambino.
No, third one is
And?
D-Day. D-Day.
That is.
I haven't seen
D-Day.
D-Day.
That
I
is-
haven't seen
Watch
D-Day.
You are
great.
now
It's
hearing Neil Carson.
What?
Thunder Gun
Welcome,
Express.
guys.
Thunder Gun. Maximum cool.
Maximum cool.
You guys wouldn't stop, so I had to start the show. So
Sorry.
I already introduced you guys.
Oh.
So
I don't... What?
that's still Nick.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
Yeah.
Trick or treat.
What is that from?
Trick or treat. I don't know. We're doing Halloween.
That's true, we are.
We are. What's he doing?
Like,
Oh, that sounds
That's-
like Kong. Kong.
that does sound Kongy.
Kongy.
Yeah. Klaatu, Varato, Nikto. And he's like, say the words. And he's like, Klaatu, Varato, Nikto.
Yeah, I know
and he's
your
like,
damn
again,
words.
I know your damn words.
All right.
And he coughs like, did you say the exact words? Yeah, just about. I got the gist of
I
it.
got the gist, yeah.
Welcome to Halloween, guys.
That's a movie you
I
should
just
watch.
rewatched them.
You
It's a great
probably
movie.
did. Welcome
Have
to
you
Halloween,
seen,
guys?
You've seen Army of Darkness.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. Vito Katai.
Oh yeah.
anyways.
So I just rewatched the Evil Dead trilogy. Because I not the show, but like I watched Evil Dead, Evil Dead 2, and Army of Darkness. I hadn't seen those movies in a long time.
All three of them?
Evil Dead.
Oh, wow.
Evil
Yeah.
Dead 2 is like fucking incredible.
Yeah.
Like that second movie is really,
It's really good,
well
and
done.
yeah, it's
humor and horror and
So I looked up the behind the scenes. It's not actually that they redid the film because it's not a beef. They basically sum up the first film in the first like 5 minutes of Evil Dead 2.
Yeah.
But they change it around. So instead of him going to the cabin with a bunch of friends, he goes with his wife, and then she like that's how they do it in
And
the
it's,
second one.
what's her
But they
name?
did that because they
Fonda?
didn't have the rights. Yeah, it's Bridget Fonda.
Bridget Fonda.
Which is weird
wow,
because she's
yeah.
like in 7 seconds of the movie.
Currently, she
But-
can't be in films because she just got arrested. So
No, that's Jane
no,
Fonda.
Jane Fonda.
Jane Fonda. Oh
Yeah, it's
shit,
the
I was
mom.
way off.
Yeah.
That's her mom.
She's
That's
a big
her,
political.
So she
lady.
can't be in film because she's visiting.
It's her aunt, her dad's sister.
Either way,
Jane
it's not
Fonda.
an issue.
It's her aunt.
Oh, who's her mom?
I
I
don't know
always
her-
thought that was the mother.
No, because
Fonda.
Peter Fonda is her dad.
Okay.
Who was in Easy Rider? He just died actually.
Yeah.
Jane Fonda is Peter Fonda's sister, and they're both the kids of Henry Fonda from 12 Angry Men.
Oh wow.
On Golden Pond.
Oh, someone else
Yeah.
just passed away.
Robert Forster.
Which he
from
wasn't.
Jackie
Oh my
Brown
gosh.
and-
Which he was in El Camino.
Yeah, he was in El
Oh,
Camino.
yeah.
He died the day
That's what I
it was
saw,
released.
yeah.
The day it was released, he died.
Yeah. So I was watching it. I was like, holy crap. He just died.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Robert Forster, 78, brain cancer. He
Yeah.
was great. He was a great actor.
He was a great
And,
actor, yeah.
From all accounts, he was a really
So
great guy.
just
like
rewinding
that.
a little bit. Today we're going to talk about Halloween films that is on a list. I don't know what list.
We're
but
going to
that
talk about
we
films
think
you
we
need to
should-
watch on Halloween. Fuck trick-or-treating.
That's what I was going to say.
Strap the
Why-
kids to the couch
Well,
and watch
I'm gonna trick
disturbing
the
films.
fuck
I mean, if
out
you're
of
an
you because
adult,
you just
just buy
interrupted my
candy.
title given,
Then,
motherfucker.
you know.
And lure kids into your home.
There's something about getting candy for free, and I don't know.
So my kid is going to be, my daughter's going to be Indiana Jones for Halloween.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
She's going to be Indiana Jones.
Yeah,
That's
yeah,
awesome.
Yeah, we got
That's
the
pretty
hat and the whip and like
She's gonna
satchel.
whipping people in the face.
satchel.
Has she
man
seen the
purse.
movies?
No. She will though.
Show her Raiders of the Lost Ark.
Well,
I-
she was Sarah Connor from Terminator 2 last year. Did you see her costume?
Yeah,
last
yeah,
year?
that was great.
We
Oh,
did a
wow.
side by side of her and Linda Hamilton, Sarah Connor from Terminator 2. It was great.
I feel like
It was great. And
Yeah.
she was like, "I'm Sarah Connor." She'd like never seen Terminator 2.
She's like,
she was
I
going
don't even
around
know what
and
I
then
am.
she still has the sunglasses from last year. She calls her Sarah Connor glasses.
Sunglasses.
It's awesome.
Oh, that's cute.
Yeah, so she'll be Indiana Jones this year. She does one costume for school, and then she's gonna be something for trick or treating. When trick or treating, she'll be Indiana Jones.
cool.
Yeah.
All right. So what we got for horror, guys?
Okay.
I got mine.
So actually, let's start off with this Evil Dead trilogy. Like,
Correct.
if you want a movie, because these are movies you got to watch on Halloween. They don't have to be like the most disturbing films, but the Evil Dead trilogy, they are horror. They are horror,
Yeah.
but they're increasingly funnier and funnier. The first movie is not that funny. There's some funny stuff in it, but
There's like
it's
slapstick.
yeah. The first movie was totally
made
indie
for like
10 people on set.
$1,000 or
They got
something.
a cabin in the middle of the woods of Tennessee or whatever, and they just made this thing. And
It's a great movie to watch because Sam Raimi and his brother and Bruce Campbell were like friends. Like I guess they went to high school together, and they were like, "We're gonna make this fucking horror movie." And they actually raised money in the local town that they grew up in, and got
you showed them to me.
like farmers to give them cash to like get the equipment and to like get the props and stuff for this movie. And they just made this movie and then released it in like local theaters, and it became a cult hit and made a bunch of money.
Yeah.
And then eventually they got enough money so that they can make a sequel later, and the
So what
sequel is like a
happened-
much bigger
production.
film.
It's less indie in a way, but
They
it's
were
still
the first.
very indie movie.
But Evil Dead 2, the reason why they redid that whole first thing is because they didn't actually have the rights to the first film because they'd sold it to somebody else. So then they had to reshoot the first thing, the
opening.
reopening. Because if you watch the end of the first one, spoiler, he basically it shows it like Bruce Campbell got killed, like he this ghost thing or whatever this dead thing is.
Yeah, where
that,
it's
that's
like,
it's
camera is
always
like-
done from point of view, and it's like low to the ground and runs. And the way they did that is Bruce Campbell and Sam Raimi put a camera on a piece of wood or whatever, and they grabbed it each side of it and ran through the woods as fast as they could, and that's how they got that shot. And it runs through and it attacks him, and the movie ends like he died.
There's like scenes shot in that first movie that you've never seen in any other movie. Like they invented ways to shoot a movie that nobody else was doing at the time, and you're like, what the fuck?
Necessity is the mother of all invention because they had no money,
even the editing, like the with like the weird shots of like the arm and the hand and the hammer and the sparks, and you're like, all of that shit was just like totally Sam Raimi.
It's nuts.
It's even in Spider-Man 2.
Yeah.
With Doc Ock. There's like a whole like homage to Evil Dead and that. Yeah.
So that's why they had to redo. That's why the beginning of Evil Dead 2 is basically a recreation of the whole first movie.
Yeah.
Is because they actually were going to use they wanted to use the scenes from the first movie to do a quick recap, but they didn't have the rights to it, so they had to reshoot it. So they
Does he own
decided
the
to
rights
change
now?
it to it. I don't know exactly who owns the rights or what's going on with it. Because the second one I think was Universal, and the first I can't remember exactly who was who and what was what.
Yeah.
But so that's why they did that in Evil Dead 2. And then it starts with him getting attacked by the Thing, like right after they do the quick recap, and then it shows him getting attacked by the Thing. But instead of dying, it flies him through the woods and he hits the tree, and then it picks up from there. And then the whole second movie is
him.
and then the third one's Army of Darkness.
Which is like
He goes to the medieval
total
times. Which, by the
slapstick.
way, you know what the original title for the third one instead of Army of Darkness?
What?
Medieval Dead.
Medieval Dead.
What a great fucking title. And it stays with the Evil Dead theme, but because the studios were like, no, we don't want to call it Medieval Dead. That's a terrible title. And he's like, but the first two films are Evil Dead. It makes total fucking sense. They're like, no, we want it to be called Army of Darkness, basically.
Yeah.
Anyway,
and
so
it's a great
that sucks.
movie. Army of Darkness is like one of my growing up. It was like one of my favorite movies. Like I watched it all.
That's
the
the first
time.
one I saw when it came out.
Yeah.
Actually, I saw
It's
it.
None
not.
of the
It's
fun-
PG-13, right? It's not R.
I think it's R. You think?
I'll check.
Maybe.
I'll check.
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure
it
it's
doesn't.
PG-13.
Yeah, I think. I want to say there's cursing. I don't know. He's great though. It's his
No,
character.
there's definitely is cursing in it,
I think
I
so.
don't think
right?
so.
but it might not be like
It's very dark. I don't know. But
there's still
Ash-
cursing in PG-13, but just certain words aren't
you know,
said in
what-
PG-13.
What's great about those movies, especially the second and the third, especially Army of Darkness, is Ash. Like Bruce Campbell's character.
His character is
he's
amazing.
so funny. He's like, and this is my boomstick. There's just certain things,
Yeah.
the way he talks, his whole sort of bravado.
Yeah. Oh, it is R. You're right.
Yeah.
Wow. That's
Yeah.
weird.
It's a darker movie. You know? I don't know.
He's like, listen up. What does he call him? Like,
There
"Hey,
is.
guys,
Do you guys?
like,
You do
this
understand? There is a
my
vine that goes up a
boomstick."
woman's leg.
In Army of Darkness?
Yes.
I think that's an Evil Dead.
It's an Evil Dead.
Dead
2. No, it's in the first one. It's in the first one.
Is it in the first one?
It's the first girl who runs out into the, woods by
plant's
herself.
like
Oh, yeah, that's right.
assault.
Yeah.
This,
It rapes her.
I wasn't gonna say the
Oh, he
R
hates
word.
that
We
word.
don't say
So
that
it was
word.
supposed to be rape. It was supposed to
No,
be.
it's the context of the word that.
It was supposed to be way more graphic, and they cut it down or whatever. It's supposed to be a lot more like Jesus.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think they ended up cutting out a bunch of it. But yeah, that would be my first pick. If you're gonna watch anything on Halloween, watch any of those movies. I would say watch Army of Darkness. I mean, you
That's
kind
your
of
first
should
pick?
Well, I'm just saying right now, this is the first one I'm saying. I'm not saying this is
okay.
number one, but
All right.
we've
This
talked
is
a lot
number
about a lot
one.
of other horror films. But
Nick's
no, my
number
first
one
pick's Monster
list.
Squad. But I'm starting with those films because I just rewatched them and they're fun. I would just watch Army of Darkness. You don't necessarily have to see the first two because they recap them.
Yeah.
I'd say watch Army of Darkness. It's funny and it's scary, but it's at the same time it's not really a horror film where you're gonna be shitting yourself, but it's fun. It's entertaining.
Yeah.
Very
Kind of the whole
fun.
family. If you got slightly older kids, watch it. Army of
Very
Darkness.
fun. Yeah. It's great.
Yeah. So that's my first pick. I'm starting with.
Are we doing light films? Because I got
No,
one
it
for
doesn't
both
matter.
si- Okay.
No. Just fuck them up.
One film that I love.
Go see
that's
Joker.
really- one film that I love that's really dark. Event Horizon.
It is. I love that movie.
I've not seen it since it came out.
I love that movie. Yeah,
I gotta
I've
rewatch
rewatched
that
it
film.
many, many times.
That is
I
a
bought
dark
it, yeah.
film. That is a freaky film.
And what's funny is like I watched the behind the scenes, like a
Yeah.
documentary on the making of the movie. Like apparently, like a lot of that shit towards the end, they did like there was like an extra. There were extended editions, and they had to rain all that shit. They filmed these like demonic orgy scenes or like orgy death, like everybody's killing each other but like fucking each other at the same time.
It's like the Ghostbusters blowjob. It's
Yeah.
like, what is with all this like
Well,
sex
that
and
actually happened to
demons
Dan
and ghosts?
Aykroyd. That's why I was in the movie. I don't know if he got a blowjob, but in this scene, it's like in the movie, it's only like 4 seconds long. But apparently, Paul W. Sanderson or whatever wanted it to be like this huge part of the movie, and they filmed
Did he
all
direct
this
that?
shit.
Yeah, you talking about when
He
they
wrote and
watched
directed
the
it.
video of everybody, like the last ship that was there.
The previous
the
crew,
the
yeah,
previous crew.
yeah, they all were like being tortured and orgying each other, or whatever.
Exactly.
And it's and they show it for like 2 seconds, and like the first time I saw that movie, I was like, that was the most disturbing.
And it was
aspect of
longer?
the whole
So
film.
disturbing.
Yeah, in the original cut, they showed it, and people were just like vomiting in the movie theater, like
It's crazy.
appalled. And the studio was like, we just gave you all this fucking money to make this movie. Like, you can't have people vomiting in the movie theater, like from this disgusting
That's
shit. that you
publicity,
filmed.
man. I don't know why, you know.
Well, they cut it all out, and he severely like cut down the movie. Like there were all these shots that he wanted to shoot, and then he wanted to make a director's cut, release that on digital media, on DVD or whatever. And they lost. Apparently, they lost like the footage. Like the studio lost the footage. Somehow, footage ended up in like.
Bangkok.
Somewhere. It ended up somewhere far away, and then he just could never get the footage. He tried to get the footage for like a year, and he couldn't get it. And there was like, so there's some scenes he were able to get, but it's like really shitty footage.
Yeah.
And they included that on the DVD and Blu-ray
Yeah.
or whatever that are like extended scenes.
Wow.
But he wanted to do like a full director's cut because the cut they released in the theaters was what the studio wanted, and what they were like, okay, this will make some money. But it's an incredible movie. I wish they would make.
What's
like,
the basic
a sequel or
plot of this
something.
film? Again, I haven't seen it since it came out, so I don't really remember.
Sam Neill's in it. Lawrence Fishburne's in it.
So that's the basic plot?
Yeah, I mean that's all you need, right? Sam Neill and
That
Lawrence
is true.
Fishburne.
Yeah.
The
I
plot
mean-
is
I
that
mean,
Sam
that's
Neill.
pretty much all you need to know.
He's a scientist who is an
Who goes-
engineer,
yeah.
and he basically works on they build a spaceship called the Event Horizon that can
Correct.
essentially fold space time, creating
Yes.
a wormhole, so they
Yes.
can rapidly travel from like
You know, I'm gonna explain your
Our-
movie, right?
what?
I'm gonna explain your fucking film.
Oh, you want to explain it?
Oh yeah.
Nah, go ahead. You're doing well, so that's why.
Well, that's actually what
Yeah.
I love about it. The thing that blew me away when I saw it the first time was like I was like, oh, that's so interesting. Like the whole they took like hell and
Yes.
they essentially explained the concept of hell by going into another dimension.
Yeah. Oh,
interesting.
So like
They put it
entering
in the
another
fold.
dimension. Yeah. So like this ship folds. They do a test run with the crew, and I guess his wife was on the ship. She was like a scientist, and he wasn't on the ship. So they tested the ship, and it vanished. And it's like this. It's like 10 years later, 15 years later,
comes
and
back, yeah.
It's like this thing. It's like the mystery of the Event Horizon. Nobody knows what happened. It just vanished, and people thought that the general public didn't know that they had this special engine on it that was going to fold space time or whatever. They thought it was like an accident and it was destroyed, and so that's what the general public knows.
Right.
But Sam Neill's like, oh no, we turned on the engine, it disappeared, and that was that. So then it shows up again in the atmosphere of Neptune or something like
Something like that,
orbiting
yeah,
Neptune, and they send Lawrence Fishburne and his crew. They're like
His
a
crew to go
salvage
check it out,
team
yeah.
to go to the ship. Anyway, you basically find out that the ship went into this other dimension, and when it came back, the ship itself, it's like The Shining. It's inspired a little bit by The Shining, where like the ship itself is alive.
Oh, wow.
And people
Yeah.
start to have visions and start to become possessed, and like all their darkest,
Yeah.
like thoughts and experiences, like all the horrible traumatic things in their lives start to like manifest on the ship.
on the ship, yeah.
Really good movie.
It's
I really
really,
don't
really
remember
crazy.
any of this. Wow. I mean, I've definitely saw the movie.
crazy
I remember, but it must have just gone over my head or something.
Yeah, it's like Alien and The Shining and like a lot of these. There's really no other movie I can think of that other than something maybe came after this that was inspired by it. But this movie is
Maybe.
like And it's funny, a lot of science fiction films that have come after. I mean, this movie came out in
There was-
'97. Were
Yeah.
inspired
Yeah.
by this movie.
There was
Like,
another film that was inspired by it that came out. I forgot the name of it, but it was really interesting. Like one of the scenes that I remember vaguely was when the youngest kid, was in the getting ready to shoot himself out into space.
the airlock. Yeah,
the airlock.
That scene's crazy.
Like that was freaking crazy.
Yeah.
You know, and she's like begging him. She's talking to him, and like it's
Baby Bear or something. He
Baby
had like
Bear.
a little nickname or whatever.
Yeah, it
like,
was. It's just.
I forget what that actress's name is. She's great too.
Yeah, she's really crazy. She was in a lot of films during that era, but she
Yeah.
hasn't
What's she
been in a
from?
lot of
What
films.
else is she from?
You'll recognize her. Let me pull it up here. But yeah,
Yeah.
But
So
that film, like, really,
so it's a kind of a horror sci-fi.
it's
Would you put
there's
horror?
I wouldn't
There's
put
a horror.
kind in front of that because
Definitely
it's very
horror.
Definitely
Yeah, it's
horror.
absolutely
Horror.
horror.
Yeah,
Yeah,
It's
horror.
sci-fi
Sick shit.
horror. Yeah.
We're talking about like people splayed, like skin ripped open and
like
shit. Like it's
like in
it's very
chains
hard.
hanging off.
Flayed.
Yeah,
Kathleen Quinlan.
Yeah, Kathleen
Quinlan.
Quinlan.
Oh yeah, I know the name. Let me see her.
She's older in that. That's like
Oh,
a
yeah,
more
yeah,
modern.
Yeah,
film, but
she was incredible.
She was
actress.
much younger. Yeah.
She might have been in one of the Alien films.
I don't know. I
She's not the girl from the first one.
oh, Jason Isaacs was in it, and
Yeah,
Was
there's a lot
Jason
of people-
Isaacs in it?
yeah. You'll recognize like
Yeah.
almost all of the actors in the movie. Like I don't think anyone in the film you're going to be like, oh, who's
Yeah.
that? You've seen
I
all
actually
of the
will
things.
I will possibly watch that.
I always think of Sphere when I think of Event Horizon because they came out around the same. No, I know. I'm not saying that the two movies that I saw when they came
It's
out
that
that I
blue
don't remember
with like
Yeah.
people in space looking suits or whatever. Yeah.
And they were around the same time period, and I saw them both once when they came out, and that's like the end of it. Like,
Yeah.
so I gotta rewatch both of those just to divide them. In my
You should
head.
watch Event Horizon by yourself. Like, don't let
Callie see.
Callie say she wouldn't like it.
Okay.
No,
All right.
It's like it's scary.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. Good. Name another one. What do you want? So that
Oh,
was his
I was
pick.
gonna say Cabin in the Woods because Cabin in the Woods is like a very fun. Like if you've watched many horror films and you're into horror films, watching Cabin in the Woods is one of those movies where you're like, I don't know, it's like an homage to.
It's an homage, not a parody, but it's sort of like.
It's like an homage, but it's also like a completely twist. It's a whole new
watch this.
twist on horror movies where you watch. It's like the Final Girls. I don't know if either of you guys watch Final Girls.
No,
yet, or-
I wanted
No,
to
no.
watch that. Though.
Even the Happy Death Day.
Yeah.
I just recently watched Happy Death Day and Happy Death Day to You, which is
Yeah.
a sequel. And those movies are basically this horror slasher film / Groundhog's Day. And it's like this mixture. Those are like a mixture of like comedy
those aren't on
and
your
horror.
list. Then you're putting Cabin in the Woods.
I would say Cabin in the Woods, definitely.
Okay.
And it's just I don't know, without spoiling it. I mean, there's a lot of great, a lot of really good actors in it. It takes all the cliche characters like the jock, the stoner, the virgin, the slut, or
Yeah.
whatever, like all these things in the cliche film, and
Yeah.
then it takes like without spoiling, it takes like almost every monster you could ever think of that's ever been on
Interesting.
film, and somehow brings that all
All right,
together.
I gotta watch this because I keep hearing about it, but I've
And
never.
it's funny.
That's
It's
weird.
like I don't know if I have to watch it again. I mean, yes, it has moments where they're like trying to hype up the scare and the shock and the jump scare type things, but you remember Cabin in the Woods.
Yeah, I remember.
Yeah.
I saw it.
Joss
He's the
Whedon
only
wrote
one that
it.
didn't see it.
It was one of these weird films where they filmed it. They made the movie, they filmed
Didn't
it, and
he
then it got
direct it?
delayed
The thing
for like
about-
2 years.
Two or three, before Chris Hemsworth was even Thor. They
Correct.
filmed
Yeah.
it, but then after he was Thor,
He's like
is when
this
it came
super
out.
skinny geek, like jock looking guy.
Didn't
but
Joss
he's
Whedon
like,
direct it too?
Did he direct it?
I thought he directed
I
it.
don't-
Maybe he
I don't
directed it.
Yeah.
I don't know. All I know is that when I saw it in the
It's a-
theaters, I was
it's a
like, "This is a
great
fucking
film.
masterpiece."
Really?
It's
Yeah.
a great film.
Wow.
I honestly kind of fell off in the end. The end of the film.
Don't tell me anything. Don't spoil it.
Yeah, the
Don't
end is
spoil it.
crazy.
I know there's a spoiler, so
Yeah.
I got to see
All right.
that.
So
I
I
kind
just
of know
want
what
you-
you're saying,
I
but
don't know why I've never watched
and
it.
in the way it ends, you're talking about the last like 10 seconds, or you're talking about the last like
the last
10 minutes.
Last 10 seconds, because that's
Okay.
literally that part of it. Was
But it's
like,
such a like what
It
the
was a-
fuck?
yeah,
and then
it's
it
an
ends, and you're
incredible
like,
f-
what the fuck? Like,
it's an incredible movie. It ends with a what the fuck.
Yeah.
And then it does 10 seconds of like, what the fuck just happened? Exactly like that.
By the
yeah,
way,
it has out of like 300,000.
It's almost relatable
reviews,
to
it's 7 out of 10
that
on
cult
IMDb.
that cult following film, Cube.
Yeah, a little bit.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Um,
This movie like takes God, without spoiling it, and it's not a spoiler, but it almost explains every other horror movie that was ever made. It gives them a more of a like grounded context.
Huh.
Like if
Yeah.
every thing that we've seen, like from all the different cultures around the world, like vampires and Godzilla and like all of these whatever, like if all those things were real
And
and this movie somehow brings it all into a context where you could like, oh, so that's what
that's so crazy.
all those things are. Like it ties all that shit together in a weird way.
Wow.
And that's what makes that's why I'm like, I can't believe you haven't seen it.
I've literally read
it's a fun
articles about
movie.
it at
You're
times. I remember
such
when
a
it came
jerk
out.
sometimes.
Motherfucker, man. I've seen every movie he's ever asked me to see.
Lying sack of Top Gun.
He's watched the title of every
Yeah.
movie.
It was
Yes.
directed by this guy, Drew Goddard.
Oh, this guy Drew Goddard.
He did
the guy. Daredevil.
Yeah.
Oh, the
The
TV
show. Yeah, the show.
Oh, okay. He directed or he wrote?
He created it.
Oh.
He's a creator, and he's written.
he
a bunch of it.
directed Bad Times at El Royale. That's like.
Yep. But what else did he
He
do?
hasn't really directed anything. There's like almost nothing on here.
Drew Goddard.
He went from Cabin in the Woods
he's a-
to Bad Times at
Yeah,
at
look
El
at
Royale.
writer / producer.
Yeah.
He did. There's something else recently, The Martian, I believe. Yeah.
He's
Lo-
produced a
Lost.
lot of stuff. Like World War Z, he worked on the screenplay. The Martian, he worked on the
Yeah,
screenplay.
he created Daredevil.
Daredevil, creator.
Yep. World War Z, Cabin in the Woods, Lost. He was a writer on Lost. He did Cloverfield. He wrote Cloverfield.
Yeah.
Yeah. So that's
movie.
cool. So he was the director. Wow, I didn't know that he directed that. That's pretty cool.
Yeah.
All right. So
anyway, I should say Richard Jenkins and Bradley
love it.
Whitford, both of them
Yeah.
are like
Yeah.
the
I like
best
both of
part of the fucking movie. Like they're
Yeah.
both in it and they're
Yeah.
fucking
I
fantastic.
love both those guys. Like,
Yeah.
everything those two guys are in, I love.
Yeah, these two guys.
Yeah,
They're
I
fucking
know that, yeah.
incredible. Like they make the movie.
Yeah, Get
Because you're
Out
just
and-
like, and it was that weird time period where it was like, I guess Lost was out, and it was like these kind of movies. This movie, in a way, like has like this thing where you're like, you don't
wasn't a
understand what's
scary-
going on until like the last.
It wasn't a
act.
scary horror film.
Yeah, it wasn't
was
scary,
a
but it was
very
like,
intellectual
what is
horror
happening?
film.
Yeah,
Yeah.
you're like, what is going on? Like,
Yeah.
it has all the tropes, and there's things happening, but like, why are they doing it? And what's the purpose? And like, why is this happening?
Wow.
And you're like, when you get to the end of the movie, like the last act, you're like,
Ooh, sorry.
And then like the last 10 minutes, you're like, what the fuck? This is fucking crazy. And it makes you want to go back and rewatch it from the beginning because
Shit.
you're like,
I'm
this
gonna have
is
to watch
so-
this for Halloween.
It's so heady.
No,
yeah.
I'm gonna watch
I
it
just
now.
remembered in my head. That's why I quivered a little bit. Was Saw 2 the scene where the girl falls into
The needles?
pit. Yeah. Oh,
Yeah.
I mean, just think about it. What the fuck do you do?
I can't think of Saw without thinking of those Jigsaw videos online. Like, you know what I mean?
and the jigsaw's like,
Gary, little bike, and
he's like, I put mouse traps there. What was it?
he goes. I've clogged the toilet and put electronic devices around on the floor.
Have you
She's
seen
like,
this?
But you
Oh,
have
yeah,
to go
yeah.
through razor blades to get the whole thing. Is
It was
just
like, but it wasn't
Gary.
razor blades. It was like
Gary.
shaver, like shaving blades or
Yeah.
something like that. It was some inert.
I've replaced
danger or whatever.
your wine with the blood of a 3-toed sloth. there's those two videos. It's Jigsaw at work and Jigsaw as a roommate. Those two videos. I can't think of Saw without thinking of the Gary.
I'm not saying
That
that
was so
should be a
good.
Halloween. I just remembered the scene of that. Like, what do you do if you're stuck in a pit of
Yeah.
needles? Because if you push up, you get like it's going. I mean, think of a needle like scratching up on your bone.
It's like a,
just-
but that's like all the Saw movies. They're like, it's a lose-lose. You know what I mean?
That's
It's
the
like
whole point of those
he puts you in a
situations.
situation where like, if you're like in the 1% of like exceptional human beings, like you're going to get out. But
Yeah.
not, like
Nobody
99%
is.
of the people that he puts in these situations are going to die.
I am 100% dead if I go. Well, I'm fucked.
Yeah. I've got so much.
I would
dirt
say
in my
like
past.
the Conjuring. I mean, there's so many movies people should watch.
I
but
got
like
one.
recent
Yeah.
ones.
I got one. It's
Well,
comedy.
Wait, you jumping me?
Oh, I am. I am
we
jumping.
round robin
I'm
again.
sorry.
Yeah.
I'm sorry.
Conjuring 2 are great. Even the
Well, he's naming more. So
I
what's
know.
going
I
on?
don't know what's going on with
It's
that.
just like-
Sinister.
He's not giving anybody.
Insidious. Watch the
trying to get-
Insidious
You're
trilogy.
naming, like,
I'm
every
just
fucking-
packing them all in. Anyway.
That's what she said. No, here's the problem.
Oh.
All right, it's a good old fashioned gangbang. All right, no, what I was gonna say is we want to give people just
It's New Yorkers, man.
these New Yorkers.
That's a New York thing.
Is it gangbangs? Only in New York.
This is why
It's
our
on a
podcast
t-shirt.
has been limited to a couple
T-shirt.
followers.
Come to New York for the pizza. Stay for the gangbang. All right, so what I
Well,
was gonna
we
say is
definitely
we're
didn't
trying
make it to the We movement.
we're trying to we too no so what we're trying to do is we're trying to just give people like, okay, here's a select few, because if we just name off 30
Yeah.
movies, what are they
Oh,
gonna
yeah.
fucking do?
What are they gonna watch?
So I figured let's do 2 apiece. Like, I'll do one more.
Oh,
Um,
2. That's like. That's
I'm
tough.
going for
But yeah,
one
I
dark,
would-
which I did, and then
Okay.
I got in my
So-
next one, which is more of a humorous.
Yeah. Real quick, honorable
Let's
mention
do
on Tucker and Dale versus
Fuck,
Evil,
that was
which I
my-
think
that was
is,
my
oh, shit,
film.
no, I was just gonna honorable. You
Was
said
it?
that then.
You just stole it.
I won't say anything.
Oh.
No, it's not my film. That's not what I was gonna say. So you
Yeah,
do
you
it.
just said it.
No, I'm doing mine.
But you just said
Monster Squad. I've talked about this
That's
movie
like
a
his
couple
honorable
times
mention for every.
because I feel like people are listening to this podcast and aren't going to fucking watch that goddamn movie.
How do you know?
They interview the cast
So-
for that new documentary, which is
Yeah.
coming out.
Yeah.
By the way,
in
guys,
search of,
Nick is at your
In Search
house
of
watching your
Darkness.
screen, so he is in your bushes. This is why he knows you're. Not
I'm in
watching
all your
this fucking
bushes.
film.
Ooh.
This is too much.
All right.
Hashtag not me. Isn't that
So-
from Veep? From Veep, remember all the people that were like
For
saying
Halloween,
they did not
the
sleep
horror
with
film
Jonah?
you should watch is Nick's
Remember that from Veep?
Twitter
Hashtag
feed.
not me. From Veep.
It's Nick's Twitter feed. That's the horror film you should
Yeah,
watch
there you
for
go.
Halloween.
No, I don't tweet for this reason. No, okay, but Monster Squad. I'm just mentioning this because if anybody who's listening to this has not seen,
I need to watch
Monster
it again.
Squad,
I want to buy it
Yeah.
on Blu-ray or something.
it's that good. Like if you like the Goonies,
Yeah.
If you love the Goonies, you like the Goonies or whatever, this movie is as good. For me, I actually like it a little bit more than Goonies. That's just me. It's so quintessential 80s. If you love Stranger Things, Monster Squad is a
It's
huge
basically,
influence.
yeah.
It really is. It's probably even more of an influence than
They
Goonies.
reference it
'Cause Goonies
in
is
Stranger
not
Things.
supernatural. Everybody's always going Goonies, Goonies. I'm like, Goonies isn't supernatural. It really isn't. There's
There's
a little
no
bit at
aspect
the
of
end where
that
the
movie
ship
that's-
goes out. It's, you know,
But that's not even
and
supernatural.
Sloth is like
That's
not really a, you know, that's a little monsterish, but he's a person who got dropped on his head like 30 times as a kid.
Yeah.
So it's like
He's
Monster
like
Squad.
disabled.
Yes, Monster Squad's supernatural, and Stranger Things is supernatural. And there's more kids on bikes in Monster Squad, I think, than in Goonies. Like I think Monster Squad is more, and it's written by Shane Black.
Well, just I mean, Monster Squad has the universal monsters
Yeah.
like Dracula, and their
It was
rendition.
beautifully done. There's only
Yeah.
one thing that I hate and I truly dislike about that film:
What?
the fact that it was very short.
Doesn't feel that short. It's like an hour
It
and
was,
a half.
it's an
Yeah,
hour and a
it's an
half.
80s.
So it was 80s film, and I get that, but
Yeah.
when I
But that's how much you like it. You want it to be more.
but I
is what you're
wanted
saying.
to
yeah.
see exactly.
But yeah, the Universal Monster rendition, like the ones they do are like Jesus Christ. They got Stan Winston to help do it. Like
Oh,
they
yeah.
got the Wolfman in there is I think one of
Great.
the
So
best Wolfmans I've
classical.
ever seen. The
So
guy who does
classical.
Dracula is so classic.
Yeah.
It's hard
Everything was
when I
so
watched it. It's
classical.
hard for me because I loved The Last Action Hero.
Oh yeah.
And the guy that
Who Shane
plays,
Black also wrote that, by the way.
Yeah.
Yeah, same guy.
The guy that plays Frankenstein.
He plays the
He
killer,
plays the
serial
killer who
that kills
tries to
son.
kill his son, and I'm
Or
like,
does kill his son,
so when I
maybe.
see Frankenstein, I just see the guy from Last Action Hero because I grew up on Last Action Hero. So it's
Jack.
like it took me out a little bit,
He's so good. Jack,
but he is great as Frankenstein.
What does he say?
Yeah.
Jack. Yeah, always. God, in Last Action Hero, that is one of the darkest villains in a light ass movie I've ever seen.
It's such a good movie.
He's Tom Woodruff.
More people
Tom
need
Woodruff,
to talk
I think
about
is his name. Tom
Last Action
Woodruff.
Hero.
He was also. I think
He's
the
been
main-
in a lot of movies.
Main bad guy in RoboCop 2.
Yeah,
Kane.
Yeah, he was.
Oh,
in,
yeah, that's right.
He was
Yeah,
a bad guy
that's
in
right,
FX. If you ever saw FX,
I did
He
see
was
it.
a bad guy in that.
FX?
Yeah,
I
well, not the main bad guy. He was like a henchman.
Okay,
Henchman.
yeah. FX and FX 2. I own those. I love those movies.
Yeah, those are great.
Yeah. But yeah, Frankenstein's great in it. Wolfman, you have Dracula, you have the Gillman or the creature from the Black Lagoon.
Yeah.
You have the Mummy. And they really are all so well done. So well done. And then you
Yeah.
have the kids, and you have the cool kids.
Kids are
you know,
funny and-
Rudy with the
Yeah.
fucking leather jacket and the bike.
If you
and
like
likes
It,
this-
if you've seen the recent It movie,
Yeah.
Like the first one,
Yeah.
even the second one,
Yeah.
where they have the flat, like all the kids, like Stranger Things, It, like that kind of thing. Like this is like the OG.
Yes.
Going back to
that,
this,
yeah.
does this predate the Goonies or is this after?
No,
the Goonies?
it's right. It's right at the same time. It's 2 years after.
Okay.
So it's technically Goonies was first.
It's riding
so
on that Goonies.
It
D.
could be. Yeah, you could say it is, but you could say that, but it's not.
It's totally
it does-
different.
Yeah,
They're
it's
totally
different.
different
It does
movies,
not
yeah.
like. It doesn't feel like it's a copycat of it at all.
Yeah.
But it's very 80s. Yeah. Monster Squad. Monster Squad.
Yeah.
It's just so great. And there's,
yeah, it's a
there's
great
quotable
film.
lines in there that are, monster stole my Twinkie or creature stole my Twinkie. And then what's the other one? He's like, kick him in the nards, kick him in the nards.
Wolfman doesn't have nards.
Just do it.
Wolfman
Wolfman's got
has
nards. And nards, like who calls nuts nards? Like your
Yeah.
balls nards. But that was the 80s.
Yeah.
And it's like, hey, asshole. The Wolfman turns around. You looked, hits him with a baseball bat, sticks dynamite in his pants, pushes him out the window. It's just great. It's really, if you were from that
Yeah.
era or you love that era,
Yeah.
they capture it beautifully.
Quick fun, yeah.
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 My next film,
Oh yeah.
no skipping.
Yeah.
We've been skipping everything.
We are skipping all.
I
over.
was gonna
I'm
do-
gonna have to say more than two.
was
That's
gonna-
too limiting for me.
No, we got 3 minutes to knock it down. So my next film was going to be Tucker and Dale versus Evil.
Oh, you don't.
We didn't talk about it. Talk about it. I think that's inspired by those
That's a
Evil
great
Dead
movie.
trilogy, by the way.
Yeah.
When I
It is.
finally saw it in the last
All
year.
right, what I'm
I was
gonna do is
like,
I'm gonna
oh,
talk
very
about
much
that
like
one. Then we're gonna do.
It's
I'm
great.
just kicking an honorable mention real quick.
Yeah.
All right, so I love this film. Like a lot of people didn't see it. And everyone that I told you need to watch this film. This film.
You told
is
me, and
hilarious.
I watched it in the last year.
And it was fucking hilarious.
Yeah.
This movie is totally about a misunderstanding.
Yeah.
And
From
they're actually
beginning to
talking-
end.
they're
Yeah,
actually- I think
beginning
they're
to
doing
end,
it.
yeah.
They're
Well,
doing the second one.
stereotyping too.
Stereotyping, misunderstanding, and they're actually doing another one. Yeah, because I love how Tucker, he's fucking smart as hell.
Yeah.
He's just like sounds dumb.
He
they're
sounds dumb
southern
because-
redneck, like
he sounds
yeah.
like he has this-
hillbillies.
They're hillbillies, yeah.
So you think that they're fucked up, but they're
yeah.
they're nice guys.
Well, it's not just that, but when you get to the end of that movie, you really understand that why the misunderstanding was being pushed on these on the kids. Yeah, on the
Exactly,
teenagers who all have that suicide pact or whatever.
No, but it's hilarious.
it's not a suicide pact. They just die every time they run away.
Well, they're like afraid that because of their like stark fear, you know, they're like they end up killing themselves.
But the
and
movie
so Tucker
start
and
off-
Dale are like, this is a suicide pact. Like these kids are all killing themselves.
It started off let you think that he's not as smart because when he goes up to talk to the girl, he has this fucking pitchfork. Like he's standing there with a pitch. And like the things that he says, it's freaking hilarious.
That's great.
It's
Get
hilarious.
out of here, freak!
Yeah.
dude.
And the villain of the film is really that main piece of shit, jockish, kind
yeah,
of whatever guy.
The villain
prep guy.
is like the person
The
you would
popped
think
up
is
collar.
the victim.
The pop-
Yeah.
yeah, exactly. Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly.
It
so
really
good.
flips it, but I think the humor and the style of that film really was informed by those Evil Dead
Yeah.
trilogy we were talking about. I think they're
By the
you
way-
watch it and you kind of get that feel from it.
If anybody wears a polo and pop in the collar, you're automatically evil.
Yeah, you're dying.
Yeah, I'm just saying. In my head, you're automatically evil.
Have you guys seen Final Girls yet?
No, I really want to watch that.
Man,
I really want to watch. Is that your
Next film.
What did I say? Cabin in the Woods.
Cabin in the Woods? You did.
It's
Final
a
Girls,
hard
and then
to
you
find
did
movie.
Death
Like you
Day,
basically
Happy
have
Death
to
Day.
buy it. I don't think. I mean, I guess you could rent it on Amazon or
Yeah.
something like that. I'm trying to think
What,
of like
Final Girls?
Yeah, Final Girls. I really liked it. It's one of those. I think we talked about it before, but it's like this girl who is like, the movie starts out with this girl. Her mother died in a car accident, and then this is like years later. Her mother was like a B movie actress, so she would be like the Jamie Lee Curtis or something
It's on
in some
Sling.
like B movie.
You could stream it on Sling if you have Sling TV.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, it came out not that long ago. It came out 2 years ago, something like that?
2015. So it's 4
Oh,
years ago.
2015. Yeah. And I never heard of this. I came across it. But anyway, so this girl, her mother passed away. She was like a B movie actress who's in this horror series that people love. And it's like the 20th anniversary or 30th anniversary of this movie. So her friend talks her into going to the movie theater to see it. And then whatever, they don't explain this shit. But somehow her and her friends end up getting like sucked into the horror movie with her mother when her mother was like, a teenager playing this B character.
Right.
And all the like tropes and things, like the movie won't progress unless they do certain things. So they get stuck in these like loops in the movie until they do something that triggers like the next thing.
Kind
or
of has
whatever,
that last
the killer.
action hero element. To,
Yeah, a little
they
bit
get
last
sucked
action
into
hero,
it.
but it like kind of examines and takes apart like the tropes of the movie, like what you expect should happen and this and that, and it has kind of like a cool little twist ending the way the movie ends, and everybody, it's just great.
I remember
It's,
watching the trailer and going, wow, that actually looks interesting. And it's weird because it kind of just went under the radar. I mean, it's 4 years ago, but it
I don't
looks
know. Yeah.
pretty good.
I remember it must have had
what's
like
her
a
face
limited
is in
release
it?
or something.
Malin Ackerman, right?
Yeah, she's in it, and then
Nina Dobrev and
what's her name? Sister, I want to say, from Up in the Air, that actress.
Anna Kendrick or Farmiga.
Vera Farmiga.
Vera
Her daughter or sister, whoever the actress is that plays like the younger version. She plays the younger version of her in The Nun. In The Nun.
Oh wow.
Yeah.
Okay.
Have you ever saw that?
Conjuring spinoff.
The Conjuring. Yeah. She's in it. She's great. She plays the main chick. The guy from I don't know all these actors' names. The guy from Silicon Valley, the nerdy dude, the main guy. The main.
Thomas Middleditch.
Yeah, he's in it. It's great. It's
That's
just
awesome.
it's just a very fun movie.
Is it also got kind of comedy elements?
Yes,
to it
it's
too?
very funny.
Yeah.
It's like there's horror.
We've really gone light for
but
this.
it's
I like
funny.
it.
Yeah, we really. Well, I got some
Except
dark
Event-
ones.
Event Horizon, I guess, but
Yeah.
but so it looked really like again. I every time I saw the trailer a couple times, I was like, Jesus, I actually like this.
Yeah,
this
I would
take
rather.
on it.
I mean, I
Getting
lean
stuck
more
in
towards
an
like
80s horror film, basically.
Yeah, I mean, for Halloween movies, I would lean more towards like I definitely would watch scary movies, but I would also lean more towards a lot of these like fun.
Yeah, you don't have to just go
halfway
pure
movies.
dark. I mean,
Yeah,
there's plenty of pure dark.
Halloween
There's
is
some
not
fun to
just-
watch. Yeah, it's
Straight up torture.
Yeah.
Yeah, you could watch Saw. Like, I would watch the first one. I probably wouldn't watch the later movies, like, as for fun.
I would
But
probably watch the second
first
one to get the feeling of it, but
Yeah.
that puzzle again. But I wouldn't watch anything.
By the way,
But
we went to Universal Studios and we did the Halloween Horror Nights again this year.
Yeah.
We did all 10 houses.
It was
and
great.
5 scares. It was awesome. They had a Ghostbusters house. They recreated the entire first
So good.
Ghostbusters movie. So good. You got to
Oh, wow.
watch the walkthrough online. And they had fucking.
Oh, it was awesome. They had
Killer
like
Clowns
the
from Outer
dog
Space.
creatures were like jumping out like
Yeah.
from the roof, and then they had Sigourney Weaver. They had
Yeah, I'm the
actors
key-
that like
are you
look
the key
alike.
master? I'm
Yeah,
the gatekeeper.
and then
Yeah.
you didn't see Rick Moranis jump
I
out. He's
missed
like,
it.
I'm the key
I'm
master.
the key master.
You can watch it on YouTube. Somebody did
Yeah.
like a walkthrough.
Yeah, well, that's still for another week or so.
Yeah, they did Stranger
around.
Things season 2 and 3.
Killer Clowns from Outer Space.
Yeah,
They
Killer
did
Clowns from Outer Space.
House of a Thousand Corpses.
Yeah,
which
which I
that's
haven't
supposed to be
seen,
a
actually.
series.
What?
Killer Clown from Outer Space.
Oh, they're
Oh,
gonna do
is
a
that-
series of that.
they're
That could be
talking
interesting.
about
That was a
doing
great
something,
house,
yeah.
but that was the last one we did. I love that.
That was really good. Yeah. And then they had a bunch of original ones that were like made by the creators that were
Yeah.
all fantastic. I thought. Yeah.
Well, we did some. Yeah, you're correct. We did a lot of light films.
But I think that's good
Yeah.
because we've done like the hardcore horror
Yeah.
films for last Halloween, and I
Yeah.
feel like this one's
Watch,
like, hey, you can almost watch some of these with your family.
Yeah.
You know,
Well, that's
Exactly,
why I was
yeah.
saying, like, I mean, I really like the Insidious trilogy.
Yeah.
Those are fantastic. The Conjuring, the first 2 Conjuring movies. You know, I think there's only 2 actually.
If you
those
have
are 2.
kids,
I
my
watched them great.
recommendation would be Witches.
The
Oh, The
Witches.
Witches,
Yeah,
Jesus.
I grew up on that.
I
Fucking
did
movie.
too, and I'm still
That movie
disturbed.
fucked me up.
Yeah.
I saw that in theaters.
Yeah.
I was 6
Oh,
or 5
shit.
years old.
Yeah.
and I saw
Angelica
that.
Houston.
Yeah. It's the first
100%
movie I ever saw
recommend.
her in, and so that's all I ever associate her with.
I know. I know. Yeah.
It's a disturbing film because it's what they do to kids. It's really like kind of like that Hansel and Gretel concept. It's like, oh, that's scary as shit because
Yeah.
I'm a kid and I'm
Yeah.
watching these adults, seemingly adults
Yeah.
or whatever.
You know what fucked me?
do bad
I
things to
always
kids.
tell this story about that movie, but what fucked me up about that movie?
The time thing, the painting. I
The
think?
painting.
Yeah.
Oh
I
yeah.
don't know why. Like, that just triggered something. Like, the idea of being a child. First of all, you're young. You have your whole life ahead of you. And then this dumb bitch witch, like, fucking traps your ass into a painting in your parents' home. And they're searching for you until they're dead. They're like, you're a missing child. Like, you're lost
Yeah.
and gone. And they're, like, mourning your loss for the rest of their lives. And the whole
And you're
time you're
right
there
there.
in the painting,
painting.
aging.
Yeah.
Like, it's just so
And you can't
insidious.
do anything.
And
You're just there.
Yeah, and they just show in the scene that they show like the little girl in the painting just getting older and older and
And they don't
transitioning
notice.
in the painting, and nobody notices.
Yeah.
And then she just disappears one day, like she's dead. And I'm like,
Crazy.
what the fuck? As a kid, that fucked me up, man.
Fucking royal doll,
Stay
man.
away from old people.
All right, guys. Well, thank you for joining us at this
that
scary.
Oh,
Get to the movie podcast. Tiago de Souza.
Nick Gambino.
and I'm Neil Carson.
All right, quickly name 5 more films.
The
Not quick enough.
The Shining.
Shining.
Definitely
glad-
watch The Shining.
The shitting. The shitting.
The shitting.
You're still here? It's over. Go home. Go.